So, hi, I'm Sarah, and today we're going to be talking about how to make money with your post, how to make more money out of every post. So, just a little introduction. I know Raquel did a great job, but my name is Sarah Gav. Technically, my full name is Sarah Gavia, but I like going by Sarah Gav. I'm originally from New York. I saw some New York in the chat, but I live in Austin, Texas now. So, in case you don't know, in Manychat, we have a nice Austin office. This is my little studio where I film YouTube videos for our channel because I'm the YouTube manager at Manychat. But I've been a Manychat user way before I joined the team at Manychat, so I'm really passionate about the product in itself. Like Raquel said, I was a social media manager and a content creator, so I've set up many Manychat flows for myself, for my clients, all that kind of stuff. And I love creating content. It's basically my whole world between my job and my personal life. So today we are going to be talking about three different ways that you can monetize as a creator. So I think that this session is really perfect if you are a newer creator or just someone who really isn't monetizing to the fullest extent that you think that you should be. So I'm going to walk through the three different ways that I love to monetize as a creator myself, and then tips to actually make more money from every post. So I have different examples, one example for each of these three different ways that I'm going to walk you through, kind of like the strategy behind the post, and then also the Manychat flow behind each sale, the thing that creators don't actually show you, like that part. I'm going to walk you through that part so that we can make sales together. All right, cool. So the first thing that I wanted to say right off the bat, because I think this is a huge misconception, is that you absolutely do not need millions of followers to make money on social media, but you absolutely do need a strategy. I think a lot of people think like, oh, if only I had, you know, 100,000 followers, if only I had 5 million followers, whatever it is for you, then I could be successful. Then I can make money. Then brands will reach out to me. Then I can do all this, that, and the other thing. But the reality is that I started monetizing back when I had like less than 3,000 followers simply because I built up a community. So your community is really everything for a creator or a business. If you're able to create posts that are valuable, if you're able to, really like build that trust with your audience, that's what gets you the sales. So first and foremost, let's just smash that belief that you need to have millions of followers. You absolutely do not, but we're going to walk through the strategy today that will help you out. So the first method of monetization that I want to talk about today is affiliate marketing. You've probably heard about affiliate marketing, but just in case this is a brand new concept to you, it's basically where you earn a commission by promoting another company's products or services. So my favorite thing about affiliate marketing is that this is something that any creator can do at any size following. Typically, affiliate programs do not have a follower requirement. Some might, but a lot of them do not. So this is something that you can do as a small creator. And it's essentially where you see people online post a product and they'll share a link and they earn a commission from that link. So the steps here are that you obviously join the programs. I put a couple of examples, but again, there are just so many examples of affiliate programs that you can join. Some of the most common, I would say like Amazon, Walmart, I think Target has one. All these different big brands you'll find affiliate programs for. Beauty brands, TikTok Shop is an example of an affiliate program. Manychat, we have an affiliate program here that has a pretty good commission payout. So there are a lot of different examples of like stores or brands or tech products or something like that that'll have this affiliate type of structure where all you have to do is hop in, join the program, you apply, and then you'll get your own affiliate link. So from there, you get your product links from the website after you apply, and then you share these links on socials and you have the potential to earn a commission. Pretty straightforward. So the pros of affiliate marketing are that it's pretty passive. I don't like the term passive income at all, to be honest, because I just have this belief that nothing's ever truly passive. Like, let's be so real. There's always work involved. Obviously, you have to put in the work to like make the posts and talk about the products. And of course, like I said, build up the community beforehand that they trust you enough to actually buy from you. And then the other pro is that you don't really need a high follower count. Like I said earlier, a lot of these affiliate programs, you can really just join. So this is a really great way to make money if you're someone who's a little bit of a smaller creator. The challenges with affiliate marketing, because obviously I want to show both sides, not everything is roses, are that it's usually a pretty small commission. So a lot of times, like for example, with Amazon, it's typically somewhere like 3%, 4%, 5% commission that you earn from the product. So it can be kind of small. But I've been a part of affiliate programs, typically with individual companies or brands, where their affiliate structure is more like 15%, 20%, 25%. Usually it's not much more than that, but those are really great. So it always differs. And then the other challenge as well is that some affiliate programs can actually be pretty delayed with their payouts. Like I'm a part of an affiliate program that they pay out each quarter at the end of the quarter. So like you can be making money all quarter, but you don't actually see that money until the very end. So obviously you always have to keep these things in mind as a creator, is that sometimes, there are these like delays that happen. And you'll see that again when we talk about brand deals for sure. So I want to walk through an example of how I basically would sell an affiliate product in a way that's not salesy. Because the thing with me is that I really value my community. If you couldn't tell at this point, I value building a community and providing value for the people that follow me more than just selling to them. Like I don't want to be seen as a salesperson. I want to be seen as somebody who provides value to people, right? And so I'm going to walk through this video here, which is basically where I shared 4 different tips for higher quality videos. And in the video, I say, these are 4 completely free, super easy tips that you can do. Well, I guess not completely free. Oops. Sorry. I didn't mean it like that. They're not actually they're not free. But I said they're 4 super easy tips that can help you with videos. Okay. So I forgot that the product is obviously not free. Number 1 is that you can use the back camera instead of the selfie camera, right? So I gave this completely free tip that is unrelated to any product that I'm selling, unrelated to anything that like benefits me. I'm like, hey guys, you know that if you use this back camera instead of your front camera, you're going to have better quality videos, right? So this completely just adds value. There's nothing salesy about it, but it also brings up this issue where the issue that like comes to mind, right, is that not everybody likes to film with their back camera. Like if you're like me, I kind of like to be able to see myself. I don't know, call me a narcissist, I guess, but I like to I like to be able to see what I'm actually filming. And so it brings up this problem where then I introduce this product that solves said problem. This is kind of like a funny product, but I actually use it quite often. It's this like mirror that attaches to your phone. So like you attach it at the bottom here, and then like it's this mirror. So like I use it a lot when I'm like filming stuff, if I'm filming with the back camera, because you can see yourself. Like you can kind of like position it that you can see your screen, and then I can see the screen and I can see like what's in frame. Pretty helpful. And so I say, okay, here, look, there's this clip-on mirror where if you're someone who like hates using the back camera because you want to see yourself, you can comment the word link and I'll send you the link to this mirror. So I kind of do like a little product demonstration with this call to action. People can decide if they want the mirror or not, and they can comment. Then tips 3 and 4, again, are completely additional tips. No product involved, no selling. It's purely just value. So like tip 3 was to film inside of your camera app and not inside of the Instagram app. I don't know if you've experienced this before, but I hate Instagram glitches that happen sometimes, or the quality is not as good. So like a great way to increase your quality without spending so much money is like to film outside of the app. And then number 4 was like to wipe down your camera lens. Again, like a super stupid tip, but like so valid. Every time that I'm like, why does my camera look a little off? It's like always because there's a smudge on my camera lens. So again, these are just pure additional value adds, and there's no sale involved here. But 1, 2, 3, 4, number 2 was a sale, right? So you're kind of like putting it right in the middle there. And then an additional call to action at the end. I kind of said, hey, like, will you use these tips? Let me know in the comments which one was your favorite. And remember that if you want that mirror that I talked about earlier, comment the word link and I'll send you the mirror. So that's pretty much the structure of how I walk through this type of video. So as you can see here, again, just a little reiteration, I write the CTA, the comment the word link, on the actual video. So I verbally say it. I also write it on the video, and then I also write it in the caption. And by doing all 3 of those, I've found that like with my testing, that ends up resulting in the most comments. So that ends up resulting in people commenting the link, and this post continues to grow to this day. I posted it so long ago, and it continues to get comments all the time. So this little structure here, the strategy behind this the strategy behind this, I guess, concept is that you provide the value first. So I'm always, again, in the boat that your post should be valuable first and foremost. You shouldn't go into it thinking about a sale. You should go into it thinking about, how can I educate my audience? How can I add value to them in some way, shape, or form? So value first. By providing value with every post, you then gain trust with your follower, right? So the person who's watching, they start to trust you. And that, once you have that trust, that's typically where the sales come from. It's possible to get sales from somebody who doesn't follow you, but at the end of the day, the road to that sale typically is this right here. You have to have enough value that people start to trust you, and then they trust you enough to buy from you. So I want to walk through, I know I showed the call to action, but I want to actually walk through, like in Manychat, how I set up the automation behind this type of post so that I can continuously get these sales if people decide that they want my little mirror. I can continue to get the sales even months after I posted it originally, which is what's happening today. So I log into my Manychat dashboard. This is the dashboard. If you have a Manychat account, this is the homepage, right? And I go to this little section here that says explore all templates. What I really love, again, this is me speaking as a Manychat user because I was a user before I worked with Manychat. I really love that Manychat has been making it really, really, really easy as a creator, because I'm someone who's not always the most tech friendly. Like, I don't necessarily like, I don't know. I like the basics, keep it easy, keep it simple. So I love these templates. It makes it so easy to just like pick the one that makes sense, plug and play, and go. So I'm going to walk you through it. Basically, I click this template here called Send Affiliate Product Links. It can't get more simple than that. We're talking about affiliate marketing. We're going to send the affiliate link. From there, it's going to walk you through the exact steps that you need to do. So the first thing it's going to say is, do you want this to send on a specific post that's already been posted, any post that you have on anywhere, or the next post? So I typically will say, okay, let's do this for the next post that I post, right? It's going to be this reel that I just showed you. We're going to click that. And then I'll add my keywords. So again, the word was link. I said, if you comment the word link, you can get the link to this product. Then I send this opening DM here. So it's, hey there, you're going to love this mirror. It makes filming so easy. Send me the link, right? So they're going to click it, as you can see here. And it's going to send this right here. I was able to add an image, which I love for affiliate products. I love adding an image. I love like them being able to see what they asked for, like just a little reminder, like, oh, this is the mirror that I looked at. Sometimes I'll even put a picture of myself in here. I'll be like, this is me with the mirror, this is me with the thing that I'm sharing with you. And then you just put the link right here. So this is an Amazon product. I went into my Amazon affiliate account, grabbed the little link from Amazon, stuck it right in here. And this can be anything. This can be a tech tool. This can be a beauty product. This can be an Amazon product, whatever makes sense for you. And this is what it looks like for the person receiving it. So they received the DM, they clicked it, they get the mirror, and then they can purchase. And just to show you a little bit of like the back end, that again, the thing that creators don't actually show you, I had 44 of these sent. So that video got a lot more comments than 44. A lot were which people were saying like, oh my God, thank you for sharing this. Like, I feel so stupid. I didn't think to wipe my lens down, things like that. But 44 of those comments were this Manychat trigger, right? So 93% of these were actually delivered, and 97.6% of people opened the message. And if you know anything about like email marketing or anything like that is a huge open rate. That's why I love like sending things in Instagram DMs, because like people open you open your DMs. That's it. Like if you get a DM, you open it. And then the click-through rate was also pretty high. So I'm very excited for this one. I think this did pretty well for me, and it resulted in a couple of sales from the Amazon affiliate link. I'm trying to look at the chat a little bit just to kind of, but it's like a little hard to do this and look at the chat. So I'm going to answer a lot of questions at the end. We have like a Q&A section, But I'm looking at this one saying, I feel so stupid. I've been using the auto DM links from comments. I love this template for affiliate. I think it's so good. I love the little image. So highly suggest the image affiliate template, the affiliate link template, the affiliate product template, whatever it's called. Okay, cool. So we're going to move past affiliate. Again, if you have other questions, just throw them in that Q&A box and I'm going to tackle them at the end. Okay, cool. Number two is brand deals. Brand deals, and I also wanted to touch on UGC, although I'm not gonna go too deep into this, but I wanted to touch on both. So first and foremost, I think most people are kind of familiar with a brand deal or like a sponsorship, a sponsored post. But basically, brand deals are where you promote a brand's product or service on your account. So the brand will pay you a flat fee, or you can also do a gifted brand deal, but like, you're worth money, okay? Like reminding you of your worth here, like you deserve payment. So you're either paid with like a flat fee or you can exchange for gifted product, and you're essentially posting about a product, about a service on your account to your followers. So the rate is dependent on your follower count, on your engagement rate, and on the metrics that the brand cares about, right? So it is dependent on that. Now, on the other hand, there is something called UGC. I didn't actually write the name, which is user-generated content. Sorry, I should have wrote that on the screen. And this is basically where you can create a video, a picture, a review of some kind for brands to then use in their own posts. So it doesn't get posted on my account. The brand is going to hire me to create this thing, this video, this review for them. And then they're going to use it in their ads, on their website, in their social media, whatever we agree upon, that's how they're going to use it to then market their own business. I really, really like UGC if you're a smaller creator. I mean, obviously you can do it as a bigger creator too, but I love it for smaller creators because it's not as dependent on your follower count. So like I said, brand deals are pretty dependent on your follower count and on your metrics because you're posting it to your audience. So the brand is going to pay you saying like, hey, we want to see that you have followers that this is going to actually be sent to. I'm going to answer the chat right here. UGC stands for user generated content. I'm so sorry that I didn't put it on. I'll put it in the chat because I'm so sorry I didn't put it on the screen. But it's user generated content. And again, this is a post where you create it, you simply get paid to create it, and they can use it however they want. So I'll talk about that a little bit in like YouTube videos. I'm planning to create Manychat YouTube videos all about UGC, but I want to specifically focus on brand deals just so that I can show you like kind of the post and the strategy behind a brand deal that I would do. So the first step with a brand deal is that you're either sending out a pitch to the brand or you're receiving an inbound request. So if you're sending out a pitch, typically that's, that involves like you create a portfolio of some kind. You include your metrics. So I say, okay, I have this many followers. This is my engagement rate. And there are all sorts of metrics that you can include in this type of portfolio type of media kit that you would pitch out to brands. Or you'd receive an inbound request. If you're a larger creator, you're probably more familiar with this, where you get emails from a brand that basically they pitch to you and they say, hey, we want you to promote this thing. Send us your rate, or here's what we'll pay you, or whatever. So that's a starting point. Then you typically are negotiating with the brand. It's not usually just like okay, one and done. You're typically negotiating the deliverables. So like how many posts you're going to be sharing for them. Maybe if it's going to be a story post and an in-feed post, or maybe you'll put it in your link in bio or anything like that. You can go ahead and negotiate these terms as well as the contract terms. Again, I'm going to do a whole video on this on YouTube because there's kind of a lot that goes into all the different like types of brand deal that you can do and all the different terms that are involved that a lot of creators I feel like are not super familiar with, and you should be. But like, for example, ad usage. If a brand wants the rights to use your video in ads, that's something that you can charge more for. Or if they want exclusivity with you, that's something that you can definitely charge more for. So this is like the phase where you'll be negotiating with the brand, typically back and forth via email. And then we move on to the scripting, filming, and approval process. So this is all you. This is typically, you're writing up the script, or the brand sometimes will give you a script, but You know, I like when I get to write my own scripts, to be honest. And then you film it, you get the approval from the brand, and that's when you get to actually post. I did also mention here, kind of similar to the affiliate when I mentioned that, payments for brand deals are typically on what they call a net 30, 60, or 90, where basically like after you finish the collaboration, you typically do not get paid till around 30, 60, or 90 days after the end of your contract. So this is where a lot of creators can get pretty stuck because like even large creators will have like, let's say an $100,000 brand deal, right? And that's like incredible. And you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even have to pay my rent, you know, for another year. Like, wow, like how cool is that? But then they don't actually get paid till like 90 days later. So that can be like a pretty difficult thing to navigate. So just keep that in mind when you're dealing with brand deals. You always want to make sure that you read your contracts and that you look at these tiny little things that are written there, so that you know, like when you're getting paid, how much am I committing to here, all that kind of stuff. And again, like I said, I know I'm going to mention this a lot, but we're planning a lot of videos for the Manychat YouTube. So one of them is all about brand deals. Make sure that you're subscribed this way. If you want to get more into the weeds on the specifics with brand deals, you can do that there. All right, so the pros to brand deals, usually this is the highest earning potential for one single piece of content. So it's pretty great because it's like a one-time thing. It has a pretty high rate, especially if you're a bigger creator, one piece of content and you're done. The other pro is that the highest paying deal, like you get higher paying deals when you have a more engaged audience. So if you're someone who is very actively building up your community, you can get higher paying deals just by showing like, hey, you know, my community, I might have a smaller follower count than maybe you're used to, but I'm getting a lot of engagement. A lot of people are commenting, they're sharing my posts, they're, I don't know, liking it, they're doing all these things. The other pro is that it can lead to long-term partnerships. This is honestly what I love. Like when you can book a long-term partnership with a brand, like, you know, every quarter we want you to do a new video for us. Like that is awesome because that is recurring income. And that's kind of what we all want, right? Like a little stability there. The challenges with brand deals, though, are obviously that it's usually a one-time deal. So there's pros and cons here. One-time deal means that it's not consistent income unless you have those long-term partnerships, like I was saying. It also usually requires a lot of back and forth emails, like the negotiations that I was talking about, all the contract stuff. And then, like I mentioned earlier, the brands often pay with that net 30, net 60, or net 90. So you don't typically get paid out right away. So I want to walk through what a brand deal could look like. A quick example. As you can see, this is a paid partnership. You can see up on the top here, it says paid partnership. And on the bottom, we have hashtag ad. Make sure that you are always disclosing your partnerships. Anytime you get paid by a brand to share something, always disclose it with the hashtag ad. Always disclose it with the paid partnership label. If you're on Instagram, you have to do that. Please do that. Thank you. And then you can see here, kind of similar to what I did with the affiliate, I love to use Manychat's comment to DM for my brand deals. This is something that I will propose to the brand and I'll say, hey, if you're cool with it, I would love to use Manychat and I would love to say at the very end of the video, comment the word right, or comment the word link, or comment the word whatever the heck you're selling. And the link will be sent automatically. Typically brands love this. I've never had a brand say no. So it's a pretty good deal. And I'll write this CTA typically 3 times. So kind of like I said with the affiliate, I write it on the video and verbally say it. So I guess that's 2. And then 3 up at the top of the comment, that very, very first line, I love to write it there. And then at the bottom as well, I'll typically write it there, as well as like my little code. A lot of times brands will give you some sort of like affiliate code as well. I see the question, do you have to put paid partnership or hashtag ad when you're just posting it in exchange for products? Technically, yes. I'm not like the perfect person to talk through this because I'm not like in legal stuff. So please don't take any sort of legal advice from me. But technically, I do believe, yes, that you are supposed to disclose anything that you are receiving, any sort of like payment or product or a gift or anything like that. You're supposed to disclose all of that. All right, so now let's walk through the behind the scenes. The Manychat template that I use is the auto DM links from comments. So this is our very typical comment to DM. I try to keep it easy for the brand deals because typically brands prefer when it's a little bit more straightforward, right? So I use this one, kind of similar to the affiliate model that I showed. I just use it on the next post. I put my little keyword right there. I also always love to do this as well, which I didn't show in the affiliate, but I always like to reply to their comments. So Manychat has a feature where you can actually reply, like it's an auto reply that replies to all of your comments when they comment the word. So I like to kind of like make these a little personal to myself. It's usually some sort of version of like, yay, like just sent it to you, or like make sure you check your inbox or something like that. So I'll kind of personalize those. And then, oops, as you can see over here, if you want to see an example, oh, I actually do think I put an example on the next slide. Yes, I did. There we go. So this is what it looks like right there. And then what I will do next is I will set up the opening DM, like I said earlier. So it's, hey, I heard that you're wedding planning, click the link, blah, blah, blah. Here's the DM with the link, right? Just like we did for the affiliate. And here is my affiliate code that the brand sent me. And there's the example. Pretty straightforward. I typically just do this for any sort of brand because I don't want it to be too complicated or difficult. Brands typically like when it's a little bit more simple, like I said. And then do keep in mind, because this specific video that I'm showing, the brand is actually running it as an ad, which is pretty cool. And so don't be afraid to charge more for usage rights. Like I said earlier, if a brand is going to run ads on your video, you can definitely charge more for that. And don't forget to set up automations on Instagram or Facebook, depending on where it's going to be running. So like if they're, running it through Meta, it's probably going to go on both. So make sure that you're able to set up the automation on both. And then here is the behind the scenes stats here. We had 171 messages sent. Remember that this is an ad, so it was able to get pushed out, which is pretty cool. And then 32% of people clicked on the link once they received the message. Pro tip, kind of like I said a little bit earlier, you can definitely leverage Manychat within a pitch to your brand. So like if you're in a conversation with a brand, like I said, I typically will say like, hey, I use this tool Manychat and it typically will result in more conversions for the actual product. So if you're cool, like I would love to use it. And 9 out of 10 times they say yes. I put down here that your partnership actually becomes more valuable when you can prove that you have an increase in engagement and conversions. So that's like what I'll say is I'm like, hey, like when I use this tool, like I typically get more comments, I typically get more sales. And so I would love to use it for you. And that's a really great way to leverage to the company. Like, hey, you can use that as like a pitch. Like I also use this tool. You can include it in your pitch. All right. And then number 3, the last thing that we're going to talk about when it comes to the monetization methods are digital products. I love digital products. I think it's a great way to monetize for any creator, especially somebody who is educational, you educate about some topic. So what are digital products? They are online items that you can sell. That's like my basic definition. That's like as basic as I could get it. So the examples here are ebooks, courses, guides, templates, anything along those lines. And this is something that literally any creator of any size with any niche can do. This is something that you can easily do. You can totally do this, okay? So how I typically structure the creation of a digital product, the strategy behind, before I even create it, here's what I do. I first come up with the topic. So I say, what is something that will help my audience? Let me actually think like, what does this person need, right? What questions are they asking in my comments or in my DMs? I typically will go back to my comments and see like, what are people asking me? Can I turn this into a digital product? Or what type of advice do they typically come to me for? A lot of times I'll get a DM with someone being like, hey, like, Sarah, can you help me with XYZ? Or like, what do you know about, I don't know, Reels bonuses? Or what do you know about like YouTube shorts, blah, blah, blah. So I look into what people are already asking me. And that's a really good indicator for what they want and what you can then turn into some sort of ebook, guide, template, etc. And then you create it. So create the solution for their need, like I've been saying. I create a majority of my digital products on Canva. Again, I'm not like super advanced techie person. Like I love keeping things simple. So I'll create a lot of my products over there. And then I also wanted to totally stress that I'm always big on value over aesthetics. So I know that I mentioned this a lot in the beginning, but I really stress the importance of valuable content, valuable products. Anything that you provide to someone, especially if they're going to pay for it, should always be something of value every single time. And so I always value the value over the aesthetics. Don't get so caught in the weeds on like, oh my God, this doesn't look pretty enough. Oh, this isn't, I don't know, I'm not like a graphic designer, blah, blah, blah. If you can provide something that's helpful, I think that's way more important than providing something that's pretty. That's just me. And then you go ahead and share it. So this is the point where you would create valuable posts that position your product as the solution to their problem. So I'm going to walk through that in just a second. Let's go through the pros and cons first. The pros of digital products, it is 100% yours. So you control everything about it. You control what you create. You control how you create it. You control where you sell it, how much it costs. Literally everything about it is 100% yours. You also earn all the money. So that's 100% yours. There's no, like, it's not like affiliates where they're taking a cut. You're only getting a tiny little percentage. Like you make 100% of the money. And again, it's pretty passive income. I don't love the term passive income, like I said in the beginning, because there obviously is an upfront bit of effort that goes into this. Like you have to actually create the product, you have to create the posts, you have to constantly, be community building so that people trust you enough to buy said product. But overall, it's pretty passive income, right? You have this thing, it's maybe in your link in bio, it's in a Manychat flow somewhere, and people can continue to buy it over and over again. And then the challenges for digital products in my eyes are that, again, it takes that upfront time and effort. So keep that in mind, is that obviously there is like some time that goes into creating the right product. It also requires some marketing skills to get sales. So you kind of have to know a little bit about what you're doing in terms of marketing this product. So keep that in mind as well. But again, as you know your audience, you should kind of get to know this. So I see Camila's comment here, like, what kind of marketing skills do I need? Like, for example, knowing the best way to create a reel that hooks them in, that provides value, and that then positions your product as the solution to the problem that they have. That would be the kind of marketing skills that I would say you would really need in order to get sales. I mean, you can really go into the weeds. Like if you're someone who's more advanced, set up a whole email flow. Like you can do a whole big thing if you want, but to keep it super simple, like all you really need is this product that you have, and then the ability to create social media content that converts them into a customer, right? So if you have that kind of skill, and that comes with practice and time, I think you're great to go. And then the last challenge is that you typically earn more as you have a larger audience. So obviously, like, if you have more people seeing your stuff and you have more reach, you'll typically end up with more sales. But I don't want you to underestimate the power of having a smaller, more tight-knit community. Because like I said in the beginning, like I started monetizing when I had less than 3,000 followers. And at that time was when I started building digital products. I was doing guides, I was doing checklists, things like that. Some were freebies, some were, I don't know, like $15, $10, whatever. I would create templates and people were buying them, even with not a ton of followers around, right? So don't underestimate the power of a smaller community. If you're somebody who provides value, builds that trust, you can 100% get sales. So I wanted to show an example of a product that I currently sell, which is a UGC media kit. Kind of like I was talking about when I was talking about the brand deals. This is like a portfolio that you can then send to brands. So that's the product. And then this is the promo video behind the product. So if you look at this promo video, I basically say, here's how to get paid by brands to create UGC content, right? Like here's my tips for that. And I walk through it. I say, number one, build a portfolio. I introduce the need and I say, in order to pitch to brands, you need to show them that you have content. So you need to build a portfolio, right? To start UGC, you need to create a portfolio to send to the brand. So I create this problem where they don't have a portfolio, right? And then I address the misconception here, which most people have, which is I can't create a portfolio because I don't have any work yet. I'm super new to this. So what am I going to do? I don't have any work. I don't have anything to show. And I literally show in this ugly screenshot of myself that I took this like thing of gummies and I'm like, you can grab this thing of gummies from your kitchen and you can stand here and you can create a really good video for this thing of gummies. And if you turn that into like a nice video, you can then add it into your portfolio as an example of what you can create for a brand. Duh. Or I kind of wrote this here. You can also use previous videos that you've created in the past, content that you can pull from your Instagram channel, from your TikTok, from your YouTube, whatever, and add that into your portfolio, right? So I already address this misconception that people have, which is, oh, but I can't make one because I'm brand new, whatever, right? Then I position my product, which again, if you remember, is this portfolio template, as the solution to the problem, right? So they're like, I don't have a portfolio. That's the problem. The solution is that I have a template that then you can get if you want to build a portfolio. I created a portfolio template. You can easily drag and drop your videos into this template. Comment the word kit for my template. So as you can see there, I have this call to action, comment kit, and I will send you the template. Pretty straightforward. So the process here, the behind the scenes, is that, again, value first. Take a shot for every time I say value first. Value first, value first. Start with the value, right? So I'm adding all this information. I'm giving them education about said topic. Then I address the need or the problem. In my example, the need, the problem was I don't have a portfolio. I'm brand new. I don't know what to do. Help. And then the solution is my product. I have this template. If you're interested in starting UGC and your problem is that you don't have a portfolio yet, here you go. You can plug and play your videos right into there. So the behind the scenes of this process is, again, I go into my Manychat templates, super easy. And I also use this auto DM links from comments. From here, I will show, again, like I do the same steps as the affiliate and as the brand deals pretty much. I say, okay, next post, I add my keywords. So for this one, it was kit. Then I have my opening DM. I say, hey, steal my media kit. Click below for the link, right? So it looks like this. And they click below and the link will send to them. But before I actually send the link for this specific example, and you don't have to do this, but it's something that I often like to do, is that I'll actually ask them for a DM asking for their email. So like if you're somebody who builds an email list, this is a really great way to first collect their email and then you can send them over the product. But like I always say, add value to this pitch, right? I'm not just going to say, hey, send me over your email, please. Thank you. I add something. I say, hey, before sending the link here, did you know that I actually send like weekly social media tips in my email list? If you want in on that, just drop your email below and I will send over, you'll be added to my newsletter. If they decide to add their email, that's awesome. So as you can see here, here's the example. They would just drop their email right there. And then they will get the link. So here's my customized little link thing. I say, hey, here's the media kit template. Super excited to see your finished portfolio. And then I put the link right here, build your portfolio. The very, very last thing that again is optional, but I often like to do when I'm promoting my own products is I'll send a follow-up DM. So again, Manychat makes it so freaking easy to do this because it's right here. I just turn this on and it says send a follow-up DM if they don't click the link. So it'll actually recognize that if this person does not click on the link to my product, I can send this follow-up. And so the follow-up is off. I made this one. Hey, do you have, oops, that was weird. Sorry. I made this specific follow-up. Hey, do you have any questions about the template or how to start UGC? I'm happy to help. And some people will be like, hey, yeah, like, I'm not sure if I'm ready for the template yet, but like, I do have this question about becoming a UGC creator. Like, what is blah, 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 blah. And they'll ask me something and then I'll just answer, just provide value to the audience and be there for my followers. So again, this is what the finished flow looks like. They click it, they get the link here, email, the follow-up. It's pretty perfect in my eyes. And then this is the behind the scenes for one of the specific post that I showed you. I had 21 messages sent about the kit. 76% of people opened the DM and 57% of people clicked on the link to the actual media kit template. Pretty awesome. And this process you can pretty much repeat with any product that you create, whether digital or physical. You can also do this exact process for a freebie as well. Pretty much it's the same thing. You know, you have this thing that you're selling or giving away for free. You set up the Manychat flow. As long as you provide value in the initial reel, get people to click on the link, there you go. But I always suggest listening to your audience. So as you create additional products, additional freebies, additional whatever, make sure that you're listening to your audience. You know, the best way to figure out what your audience needs is to either ask them. So I really like doing like Instagram polls, like asking people like, you know, where are you at in your journey, blah, 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 and just kind of getting an idea like what they need, you know? Or I'll go back into my DMs and I'll look like, what are people asking me directly? Like, what do they need help with? Or my comments, what are people asking about in my comments? Or another pro tip as well is I'll often like go to other people in a similar field as me, and maybe I'll look at their comments too. Like what is their audience asking them? You know, like what kind of questions can inspire me to then create the solution for the problem that my customer is having, or my follower, or my whoever they are. So listen to your audience. So that is pretty much what I have for you guys today. Although we are going to open it up for Q&A. But first, I wanted to just remind you to check out this playlist on our Manychat YouTube channel. We have some pretty good videos coming out. Not to toot my own horn, but we do. And so I have one coming out next week with a full breakdown of 5 different ways that you can monetize. I think it's a pretty good resource. If you enjoyed this workshop here, you'll probably enjoy this video. And then, like I said, I'm planning also videos on full breakdowns of brand deals and all that kind of stuff. And like I said, I listen to my audience. So if there's anything that you specifically want to see us talk about on our YouTube channel, I'm very open to hearing your ideas and what you guys specifically need. And then I'm happy to create videos for that need. So you can always comment on our videos and I will help you out and hopefully make a new video. All right, it is Q&A time. I'm super excited. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I haven't been looking at the Q&A box at all, to be honest. So I was looking at the chat. But hopefully we have some questions here. If you don't mind, for the Q&A portion, can you drop it in the Q&A box in Zoom? So like if you go to like the Zoom menu thing, there's a little Q&A box. Go ahead and drop it there rather than the chat. This way I can see them there. But actually first, I know that we had some questions from the community. So let me actually do that first really fast. Hold on, I'm gonna stop the share. And hold on. Let me open this up really fast. Hold on. Okay, hopefully this is okay. Can we see that? Can someone let me know in the chat? Yeah, okay. Thanks, Raquel. Okay, perfect. So I want to answer some questions that I saw in the community forum. Like Raquel said in the beginning, we have an awesome community forum here at Manychat, community.manychat.com. I often share some of our new YouTube videos there. We have a lot of conversations about, you know, questions if you have things like that. So this is some of the questions that came in, and I want to address this one. As a creator, I've struggled with getting brands who say that they don't have budget to pay for collabs. I have over 20K followers, and I started off doing collabs for like gifted products in exchange for a post. But now I'm telling brands that I only do paid work and they never actually move forward. This is a really, really common thing that happens to creators, especially when you're in that like 20K region. For reference, I have 27K on Instagram, so I'm pretty much in the same boat on one of my Instagram pages. So my advice here is that is going to happen. Like, I hate to say it, but it's going to happen. There are just going to be some brands that, especially if it's like I've noticed it a lot with obviously small businesses oftentimes don't necessarily have the budget to pay for collaborations, but also a lot of big brands. Like often those big, massive brands will often say the same thing because they know that there are so many creators that will just accept free product in exchange for a promotion. And so they're like, well, why would I pay a creator if I can just get, if for free? So I often like to look at those middle brands, like the brands that are right in the middle, not a super small business and not a super large corporation, but those brands that are kind of right in the middle, that like sweet spot, are often the ones that I've found are more inclined to work with someone around that follower range. So definitely try that. And also keep in mind that like I often send quite a bit of pitches and a lot of the times they say no, and that's fine. It's a little bit of a numbers game. The more that you send, the more that you work on it, the more luck that you'll hopefully get with getting brands that want to work with you. And then I had one more post as well from the community, and then I'll move into the chat, I promise. This one. I would love some tips for best practices using Manychat in stories. So I love using Manychat in stories. Specifically, one of the use cases with monetization is affiliates. So when I have affiliate products, I often don't usually make a whole post about most of them, to be honest. Like, let me just use this water bottle as an example. If I love this water bottle, to be honest. It's an Awala. It's a great water bottle. It's my favorite. But if I wanted to sell it on stories, I would straight up like make a story about it. This is probably not something that I would make a whole reel about, but I'd be like, guys, I just bought this water bottle. It's so awesome. I literally love how it's like pops up. I love how there's not like a gross straw. Like it's awesome. I love it. And then what I would do in ManyChat is I would use the template. So I would use the stories template. And I would go in, I would just fill in the keywords. And so again, in that story, I'd be like, if you want my water bottle, comment the word bottle and I will send it to you. And just kind of keep it straightforward like that using the template. I highly suggest using Manychat templates, by the way. Like that is where I thrive, at least. Okay, let me go over to the Q&A. One sec. How do you figure out how much to charge for brand deals? This is a really good question. I feel like when I first started, like as a newer creator, first getting brand deals, I really had no idea what to charge. And it was a little bit of like throwing things out in the dark and seeing what stuck, which kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie. We have a podcast episode on our YouTube channel that I'm gonna refer you to because I talked with Mel, who's our social media manager at Manychat. And we basically discussed like the different ways that we charge. So like when you have more followers, you can charge more. When you have a higher engagement rate, you can charge more. But nobody really talks about this. So I would refer you to that episode just because that conversation is going to be a little bit more valuable than me sharing my thoughts. I think the way that we talked about it was really helpful. And organically. I see this one from Coach. It says, you DM them organically when they have a question. I'm thinking that you're referring to like people messaging me on Instagram or something. Yes. Yes. I think you're referring to the UGC one where I wrote at the bottom, like, if you have any questions, let me know. I I'm someone who really loves organically communicating with my audience. I just think that there's something that's so valuable about conversations with people. And that's what leads to sales. Like the way that I got clients as a social media manager when I was doing freelance work was always through Instagram, and it was always through something with Instagram DMs. Like they would DM me a question and then we'd be talking back and forth. And then maybe the next week they'd ask me something else. And then I would send them a voice message and I'd be like, hey girl, like here's how to do this, blah, 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 blah. And then like the next week they'd be like, can I hire you? And I'd be like, sure. That is how I've had so much success. So I really try to answer my DMs as timely as I possibly can. Sometimes I'm not the best with it, but I try. I just think it's just so valuable. Let me see what else we have here. Yes. I'm going to answer this one. Can you please repeat the three Manychat templates that I mentioned? By the way, this will be recorded and it's going to be uploaded in the community if you want to rewatch it, or it'll also be on YouTube too. The three templates were the affiliate. Hold on, let me get the exact names for you. hold on. It's the send affiliate product links. That was the one that I used for affiliate. And then for brand deals, it was auto DM links from comments. This is the one that's most popular. And I also used that same one for the digital products. I just changed them a little bit slightly. So for the brand deals, I typically just do a more straightforward, like link, like comment and then link. But for the digital products, I add my email. I do a little bit more there. Also, if you're someone who does freebies, I know that I mentioned freebies a little bit. The ones that are called generate leads, like generate leads with stories or something like that. I love using those ones for freebies. I think those ones are awesome. Instagram or Facebook too. This question, do you primarily use Instagram or Facebook too? I primarily use Instagram. That is where most of my audience just is. So yeah. They make money relevant for all. I love this question here. Are these 3 ways to make money relevant for all platforms or just Instagram? Is there one platform that's better? You can definitely utilize these on all platforms, but I would say that just from personal preference, Instagram typically lends itself to the easiest experience with most of these use cases. Mainly because, like, for example, like I love using the DM automation. That's honestly the biggest one for me is that I like being able to do that because it has resulted in the most conversions for me. And so I like doing that on Instagram. When I use like TikTok, I just feel like people are not as inclined to buy over there, at least personally, unless maybe it's TikTok Shop, which I will use on occasion. And then with YouTube, YouTube Shorts in particular are not the best for selling things, in my opinion, a lot of times because you can't really put links there at all. There is a link in bio, but people don't really use it as much, like kind of like they do on Instagram. Also, like something about the Instagram DMs is just so much better than like 99% of other platforms. Like, I don't know about you, but I rarely ever check my TikTok DMs. I just feel like people don't use them like they do on Instagram. Instagram DMs is just unmatched. So personally, yes, you can use it on all of them, but I prefer Instagram. Or I guess Facebook. If you're a Facebook creator, you can definitely do that too. But I'm just not really a Facebook creator personally. Let's see. Do you recommend? Let me see. Hold on one sec. I want to make sure I have a good, a good question. They already have the email saved. Use it in What is the best way to use it? Apps do I use? I like this one. How do you make sure that you're not dealing with a scammer for paid collaborations? That is a great, great question. The number one thing that I look at, so like what they're asking is like, if you get a brand deal from a company, how do you make sure you're not going to get scammed? Valid. The first thing that I look at is the email that it comes from. If the email is coming from a Gmail account or anything that's not like the company's website. So like, for example, let's just say, for example, someone tries to reach out to you from Target. I don't know. And it's like Target wants to do a brand collaboration with you, but the email is like, I love Target at gmail.com or like Sarah at get-target-deals.com or something weird like that. It's probably a scam. That's honestly the number one way that you can usually determine if it's a scam. Trying to think of other ways too. Like oftentimes they'll just act like it's you can I don't know, I feel like you can kind of just tell sometimes like the language that they use, it's just it feels sketchy. Like my biggest thing is that if it feels off, it probably is. But look at the email. That's definitely the number one thing that I look at. I see this question here. If you're selling a digital product, do you recommend telling people the link is in your bio or setting up an auto DM? Which one has a higher conversion rate? For me personally, auto DM always has a higher conversion rate. I've tried both. I've pretty much tried it all. And that always works better. And plus, I love using the auto DM feature because it increases the amount of comments on my post, which then often tells Instagram, like, hey, people are liking this one, like they're commenting on it. So it typically will push it out to more people, which is pretty cool as well. But yeah, like I always recommend have it in your link in bio anyways. Like, why not? You know, the thing that you sell can just sit there. but like I typically would always use auto DM. It just has a higher engagement rate, a higher conversion rate. This might have to be the last one because we're ending on time here, but do you recommend just putting the link within the text of your Manychat automation or in the button within Manychat? Because I see a lot of people pasting it just in the text box. Definitely recommend putting it in the button. I always use the button. I'm not 100% sure if the links in the text box are clickable. I don't know, but I always use the button. I feel like people they just are used to clicking the button. I would just always use the button. And ManyChat allows you to add multiple buttons too, so it's pretty cool. Okay, I think that's pretty good. We got a lot of questions there. If you have other questions though, reach out to me on Instagram. I'm happy to help.
Sarah, thank you so much. This was amazing. Like I was taking notes and I'm not even a creator. I was like, okay, what else can I learn? Thank you so much. I know there's a lot of questions in the Q&A box. So I'm just gonna pop in the community post that Sarah was sharing earlier. Where you can add your questions. Maybe Sarah can go back and answer a few questions in the next few days. But as we said, the recording will be shared in our community in the next few days. So you'll be able to rewatch it and be able to also understand like the templates again and go in the Manychat and do it yourself. So thank you again. And also don't forget to check the Manychat YouTube channel. Sarah has been doing amazing videos there. So it's youtube.com/Manychat. You cannot miss it. So thank you again, and we'll be back next month. So I hope to see you, everyone, again, and Sarah again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for joining. And yeah, I'll answer some of the questions in the community chat. So click on that link that Raquel sent and check us out on YouTube.
Yay. Thank you. Have a good day.